the orange is in focus. Here the apple is in focus. You can see the difference there. Orange apple, orange apple. Um, and here the lemon is in focus. Lemon dot, lemon dot, lemon dot. So I'm going to take those now. I'm going to close this off. I've got them here, and I've labeled the files orange, apple, lemon. I'm going to take those three and I'm going to take them into Photoshop just like that. Drag them all into Photoshop and it will open into different files. So there's one file right there. That's the orange. This is one where the lemon is nicely focused. You might think, you know, it looks kind of focused here, to be honest, but then when you see this, you think, oh no, that's really focused. And then we got one here where the apple is in focus. I'm going to keep the apple one. I'm going to let that be my base, and I'm going to go to this lemon. No, I'll go to the orange because it's the next one. And I'm going to copy all of that. I'm going to select all of that and copy it. And I'm going to paste it into this layer. If you look at this, we're in the layers now. There's only one layer, but when I paste, now we have two layers in this same file. One picture is where the apple is in focus, and one is where the orange is in focus. So I'm going to go to the lemon file. I'm going to select all of that, copy it, and I'm going to come back to this file that now has two layers, and I'm going to paste this next layer in, and that's with the lemon in thing. Now over here you can see I can turn off the layers, nothing is there. This is where the apple is in focus. This is where the orange is in focus. Well, notice there's a little bit of softness to the orange there. I can't do anything about that because it's nowhere is it in focus, not in either picture. So I could have maybe done a fourth focus stack there, but it'll be fine. And then I've got the lemon. This is the difference with the lemon in focus. Looks a bit darker, that, doesn't it, as well? So I'm just going to slightly change that there just a little bit, just to make it a little bit brighter. We'll check it because I want it to be there. That's better. Oh, it's still a little bit dark. So we'll make it just a little bit lighter again because I want them to be relatively close to begin with. There, let's try that. Maybe too much now. We'll go back. That's close enough. All right, so I got that. Now with Photoshop, what happens is when you start working on a file, delete color, whatever it, you literally change that layer, that image, and then it's gone. So I always try and keep a copy of the original stuff. So here's I just moved them all down to this plus. It copied the layers. So here's my 3 original layers, and then these ones are copies. And I'm just going to separate them. I often do this, just separate them with a black layer. So I just created an empty layer, and then I used the paint bucket tool, and I chose black, and I just filled it in so that here in the layers panel I could visually see that those are my originals there. And I'm going to turn those off, turn this off, and then I've got my 3 files here. All right, now what I'm going to do now, the background layer is the apple one. That's where the apple is in focus. So I'm going to call that apple. This one, I'll move the layers for you. This one right here, the layer I'm turning on and off now up here, this is the orange one. That's where the orange is in focus. And this one here is where the lemon is in focus. So we'll do the lemon layer right there. Alright, so now in the lemon layer, I'm going to want to see the apple and the orange. So I'm going to turn the orange off first. So that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in this lemon. I'm going to, let's just see, here it is. I've turned all the other layers off now. I'm going to use the eraser tool. I'm going to use the soft edged brush. So here we can make it hard. And then we'll have a look at what it does. It makes a, a hard cut like that. I'm going to Command Z that because I don't want that. I want the edges of this eraser tool to be soft so that it kind of blends a little better. So you can see now it kind of does that. Look how big that is. It's worth noticing how big that hole is. I'm going to take the size of the brush down as a result. So we'll have a look at that. That's too small. So you can do this and then Command Z it, or maybe Windows Z it, I think, on a PC. There. Now I'm cutting a hole that's about that big, and I'm going to do that. All right. So we'll turn this layer off, and we'll turn this layer on. This is where the apple is in focus. So I'm going to now turn this layer on, and I'm going to delete the apple from the lemon layer. So I'll turn it off, and you'll see I'm making a hole in there, right? But when I turn on the apple layer, it actually fills that hole in. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave it on, and I'm just going to, well, let's just turn it on so you can see. It's more pleasurable to do it while you're actually watching it, but I'm just going to go close to the edge of the apple there. When I turn on the apple, then you can see it. I'm going to do that again so you can see exactly what I was doing. Well, you know, with the layer turned on. I'm going to go back to eraser, so nothing is erased now. There it is, just a little bit. And then I'm going to make sure I got this layer selected, and you can see this all out of focus stuff. And I'm just going to start and stay away from the edge of the apple. Don't go too close to the edge. Just get relatively close and go in there like that. And while I'm here, I'm going to delete the orange as well. It's out of focus in the apple there because we're revealing this layer, right? So I've cut a hole like that. Why have I cut a hole like that? So that when I turn, you know, if I turn this off and I turn on the orange layer, I'm also seeing the orange now. Now the problem is, when I turn on the orange layer, I can't actually see the good apple layer underneath. So now in the middle layer, I've also got to erase the apple, so that I can see that too. Oh, and I just erased the orange there, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to erase the orange because the orange is good in this layer. So there we go there. Oh, don't want that. I've erased the apple. Let's have a look at them separately. I've arranged everything in this one. Erased everything in that one. In this one, I've erased the apple rather, and in this one I haven't erased anything. Now I've made a mistake there, haven't I? No, I haven't. That's it. So there, the apple is in focus, and when I put this next layer where the orange was in focus, and I erased a bit where the apple was, I still see the apple and I still see the orange, and in this one I see them all, and there they are right there. Now everything looks good to me. I'm quite happy with that. There's a bit of softness, as I said in the very beginning there, in the orange, and I can't do anything about that. I'm going to merge them all together now, so I've just merged all the layers together, so it's just one photograph. And then I'm going to make a copy of that photograph there on a separate layer. I don't need the histories panel. And then I'm just going to do a couple little edits. Now I'm going to increase the contrast ever so slightly, and to do that I'm going to make the image a bit brighter, and I'm going to make it a bit darker. That's better. I quite like that. Oh, that's nice. Go too dark, it looks ridiculous. We can go a little bit darker, but it gets a bit too saturated. So then I'm going to take the saturation. Oh, not that. No, don't. Oh, I don't know what I did. I know what I did there. I inversed it. Don't do that. I hit the wrong key. There we go. I'm going to pull the saturation down just a little bit because it was up here. It looked a bit fake, didn't it? So that looks a little better. And then I'm going to go to this burn and dodge tool. The dodge tool makes things lighter, and that's about the right size. So I just want to make that lemon just a bit lighter, like that, and down in the middle there, like that. And then I want to vignette it just a little bit. So that means I'll use the burn tool. I'll use it quite big. Vignetting means you make the corners a little bit darker. So I'm just going to just make that a little bit, and I'm going to click there, and I'm going to double shift click over here, and it'll just give me that bit of a dark feel. So just kind of framing that picture a little bit, framing those fruits a little bit. Now, after that, there's a couple things and you've heard me talk about these things in class that I don't like. I don't like this stuff down here, this little bit of thing, and there's a bit of annoying stuff coming into the image there, and there's this annoying line right here, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we can crop ever so slightly there, and we can crop ever so slightly there, and we can crop ever so slightly there, and there we have it. So now I've got my fruits all nicely focused. I've got, the lighting is consistent. They're in the same place. It was easy to do because I used a tripod to take the pictures, so it didn't change. The background is out of focus, and I could have also done used the focus stacking for the background. But the fact that the background is out of focus works quite well now because it just, in some ways, it could have been even more out of focus. Could have been even better. It could be a little darker, maybe, and or more out of focus. Then we wouldn't see it anymore. But I'm quite happy with that. I am.